One of the things that I have discovered this year, or I would say the past couple years, is that a woman's presence can be just as triggering for men as it can be for other women. 90% of the time, your presence is triggering for other women because it's just naturally in a woman's instinct to be defensive or to be jealous or envious when another woman is around. You know, we're more geared towards competition among other women than we are support, sadly enough. I truly wish that there was more sisterhood and there was more genuine love and support amongst women. But a lot of times it's not that way. There's cattiness, there's gossip, there's women that intentionally go out of their way to shit on you. And it's like, you doing all of this for another woman? Like, I didn't even know, honestly, that women really thought that way. And I've noticed it more and more. You know, it's like, it's the thing to do, to say, like, I'm about to really shit on these bitches. Now, don't get me wrong. I totally understand that energy. I totally get it 100%. But do I agree with the woman solely reaching her status quo, reaching her standard, elevating just to shit on other women? Because when you've truly elevated, you're not even thinking about your enemies no more. You're focused on trying to maintain that happiness and maintain that peace. But the world that we live in, they provoke this type of thought, behavior, and mentality that's the thing to do, when in actuality you should be more focused on reaching down to build somebody else up and lift up the next woman behind you, the next sister, the next cousin, the next whoever, you know, is in the lineup that could use your help. But I digress. When it comes to men, I didn't know that men, like, there's an epidemic out here where men are really, like, triggered to this extent. For there to be this much insecurity, where there's like movements online where men are talking down on women, where men are judging women, where men are being so hypercritical of women not meeting this certain standard or looking a certain way or just going out of their way to pick a woman apart. It's insanity. It's really insanity, and it makes you more vigilant about being aware. Especially if you're raising a daughter, you have to be vigilant about what type of man you have in the picture. Because these men nowadays, now I'm not saying all of them, don't get me wrong, because there are some really good men out here. There's men with character, integrity, and respect, you know, that still exists. But the amount of men nowadays that I see that are triggered and, you know, judgmental and hypercritical and just taking on these feminine characteristics is insane. It really is. And I wish that there was more support and positive men examples for this community of men that are like this. This is something that happens over time. This is something that is developed, something that is groomed, and something that grows. And it can be healed. But a lot of times what I find is that, you know, just like with anything, it's hard to face. Anything that's difficult, sometimes it's hard to face. And these are people that have support from other people that are just like them, you know. So they think that how they are is okay. These are people that are getting reinforcement of these behaviors from the media every day. So why would they want to change their ways when they know that they're benefiting from it? You know, if you know that you have a community that's backing you up, that's saying that's the way to be, that disrespecting women is okay, that, you know, treating women like they are second best to a man is okay, that, you know, all a woman is good for is being subservient and submissive is okay, then of course you're going to keep on living like that. You're going to keep on thinking that's the thing to do. That's my rant. I just didn't know it was like to this extent. And that's my whole thing, because it's real. And it's understandable, I feel like, with the feminist or feminine awakening. But at the same time, it should demand the man to step up into his manhood. A woman's rising should not determine a man's falling. It should encourage him to rise to the occasion. It should encourage him to want to be better, to do better, because he wants to be a good partner for her. It's easier, like I said, to take the cop-out route and just say, you know what, I'm benefiting from the way things used to be, the patriarchal society. So why would I need to do anything different? Because it's going to challenge them to grow. It's going to challenge them to grow up. And Some men I feel like have a true chance at evolving, and then there's some that will take a long time, many, many years, until they're well in their senior years of life to decide that is what they're now ready to do.